Hello, I'm Jan Lewiński and you're watching Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you everything you need to know. Sergei Lavrov, the master of Kremlin doublespeak and the eternal jockey of Russian diplomacy, has once again graced us with his wisdom. In his latest speech, delivered with the conviction of a man trying to sell a three-legged horse at a racetrack, Lavrov declared that a ceasefire in Ukraine would be, and I quote, a road to nowhere. Bold words from a regime that has been careening down a pothole-ridden dirt path of chaos since, well, 2022. Moscow, according to Lavrov, is deeply interested in improving relations with the United States, though. Yes, because nothing says let's be friends like bombing civilians, threatening nuclear strikes, and holding entire continents hostage with energy blackmail.
Перемирие – это путь в никуда. Нам нужны окончательные юридические договоренности, которые будут фиксировать все условия обеспечения безопасности Российской Федерации и, конечно же, законные интересы безопасности наших соседей. Но в контексте, который будет международно-правовым способом закреплять невозможность нарушения этих договоренностей.
But don't you worry, Russia has a vision of peace, a permanent peace, no less. And what does this vision look like? Well, it's quite simple. Ukraine needs to either A. disappear entirely from the map, or B. install a charming puppet regime in the style of Lukashenko, complete with rigged elections, state-sponsored vodka celebrations, and perhaps even a golden statue of Putin in Kiev's main square. But wait, there is more. Lavrov also suggested Ukraine must hold, and I quote, legitimate elections if it wants a real president. Because clearly, advice on democratic processes from a man representing a country where elections are less competitive than a rigged game of Monopoly is exactly what Kiev needs right now. In summary, Lavrov's idea of peace involves Ukraine surrendering, installing a Kremlin-approved stooge in power, and politely apologizing for having the audacity to exist in the first place. Bravo, Sergei. Somewhere in a smoky backroom, Putin is probably giving you a slow clap. Alexander Lukashenko, the eternal understudy in Putin's tragicomedy, and a man whose spine is presumably made of rubber. Once again, the Belarusian dictator has eagerly raised his hand in class, shouting, "Pick me, Mr. Putin, pick me!" His latest grand proposal? Hosting a dozen Oreshnik missile systems on Belarusian soil. Because, of course, NATO soldiers are practically lining up at the Polish border in their pajamas, clutching teddy bears, unable to sleep from their uncontrollable desire to invade Belarus.
А много комплексов вообще орешников приедет в Беларусь? Вы сколько хотите?
Думаю, что пока десяток, а дальше посмотрим. Если у россиян будет желание больше разместить, мы разместим их больше. Я говорю, что пока 10 комплексов, а потом, если будет желание у Владимировича, и больше орешников.
Не, ну 10 ты будешь...
Он вас опять на камеру.
С запасом.
But Lukashenko isn't just content with a modest dozen missiles. Oh no! If Moscow wishes to dump a few extra Oreshniks onto the picturesque Belarusian potato fields, Minsk is ready and willing. Nothing says sovereignty like eagerly offering your country as a glorified missile silo for a neighbor who treats you like an ATM and a doormat at the same time. Meanwhile, Armenia, another former member of the illustrious post-Soviet club, has decided to pack its bags and look for better company. Can you blame them? When your regional alliance feels more like a hostage situation run by two aging authoritarians and a North Korean fan club, even a casual stroll into geopolitical independence seems appealing by comparison. Naturally, Lukashenko couldn't let Armenia make such a bold move without putting on his best concerned principal face. What about the collective spirit, the brotherhood, the matching tracksuits we bought for our military parades? Lukashenko cried, clutching a portrait of Putin for emotional support.
Никола Иванович, это вас не касается. Мы знаем, что вы не только сбрили бороду, но и приболели немножко. Поэтому мы воспринимаем вас как нового, молодого, внешне, по крайней мере, члена нашего союза. Благодарю за внимание. Извините, готовы подписывать документы.
Спасибо, Александр Григорьевич. Просто хочу уточнить, что вот мы не возражаем против проведения заседания Высшего экономического совета ЕС в Минске, но я хочу заранее сказать, что наша делегация примет участие в заседании в режиме видеоконференции. Спасибо.
А что за проблема? Что у вас за проблема? Далеко до Минска или некому вас подвезти? Ну, мы организуем доставку вашей делегации, если нужно.
Александр Григорьевич, я по этому поводу выступил с публичным заявлением, и это заявление остается в силе. Я не думаю, что это правильный формат, чтобы обсудить эти вопросы. Просто вы сказали, затронули вопрос, я должен был сразу среагировать, что не было никаких недопониманий.
Ну, сейчас мы рассмотрим ваше заявление.
А что тут рассмотреть? Вы не можете рассмотреть мое заявление, потому что мое заявление это не подлежит к рассмотрению.
Да, мы это только его... Мы рассмотрим, может, телевизора не будет, чтобы вы дистанционно выступали.
Нет проблем.
But again, don't you worry. While Lukashenko plays the loyal class pet and hoards Oreshnik missiles like they are rare Pokemon cards, Putin's regime will continue to set standards for stability and strategic brilliance across the region. After all, nothing just screams world power like forcing your allies into becoming missile hostiles, while your supposed collective disintegrates faster than a soggy blinny in lukewarm tea. Now, when it comes to aviation disasters and Russian missile systems, history seems to rhyme, and badly at that. This time, it's not Malaysia Airlines flight MH17, but an Azerbaijani plane allegedly brought down by Russia's trusty Panzer S-1 air defense system. Yes, that same system that's supposed to protect Russian skies, but often seems more adept at shooting down anything with wings. Friend, foe, or even an unfortunate seagull.
Я с утра разговаривал и с Ильхамом Гейдаровичем Алиевым, который уже практически был почти на месте, вынужден был развернуться и вернуться в Баку, имея в виду, что самолет принадлежал азербайджанской авиакомпании. Ну, повторяю еще раз, будем надеяться на скорейшее выздоровление пострадавших. И, конечно, будет, уверен, произведено тщательное расследование. Мы согласуем работу наших специальных авиационных служб по всем вопросам, связанным с этой трагедией.
Azerbaijani lawmaker Mr. Muzyabekov has boldly said that Russia must apologize and pay compensation. An apology from Moscow. Oh, that is rich. The Kremlin hasn't apologized for MH17, for Syria, or honestly anything since Brezhnev forgot his wife's birthday. Instead of compensation, Muzyabekov will likely receive a strongly worded Kremlin statement blaming NATO pigeons, Ukrainian saboteurs, and Elon Musk's Starlink satellites for the incident. General Budanov from Ukrainian military intelligence has quickly pointed out that the missile in question, because let's face it, not birds, a missile, was launched from Russian territory. You would think after the MH17 scandal Russia would invest in better radar systems, or at the very least enforce a don't drink vodka on duty policy for their missile crews. But alas, consistency is key. Russia's air defense is still shooting first and asking no questions at all. And speaking of MH17, remember that? The investigation confirmed that a Russian Buk missile brought down the plane, yet no one in Russia ever faced consequences. In fact, the only person sitting in a Russian prison is someone who dared to criticize the Moscow regime for it. Justice, Kremlin style. Pilots die, missiles fly, and someone ends up in a gulag for posting mean tweets about the Tsar. But once again, don't you worry. Next time something gets shot out of the sky by Russia, the official Kremlin narrative will likely involve a brave Panzer S-1 commander saving Moscow from a rogue Amazon delivery drone. And with this, we conclude this episode of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.